All right, so Olympic Lyon has been relegated to League Two, despite finishing last season fifth on the table, a position that guarantees European qualification. All right, this is shocking, right? It's shocking you. Okay, I will answer the question. I know lots of you are asking why. I will answer the question why. Some of you might know why, but you might not know what to say when you are asked the reason why. You understand what I mean? Don't worry, I will tell you why, and I will explain in detail so that you will be able to know. All right, I always tell you that football business is different from football tactics. Okay, what happens in the business aspect of football, in the administration part of football, is quite different. It's a different ball game altogether from what happens on the pitch and what the fans say. So let's talk about financial regulations in football. First of all, before I tell you why Lyon was relegated and how this financial regulation is gradually shaping the future of some of Europe's biggest clubs. All right. Now, a lot of La Liga fans, okay, have criticized Javier Tebas for his strict. Javier Tebas is the president of La Liga, for his strict enforcement of the league's spending cap. All right, they are claiming that it favors Real Madrid while it's hurting clubs like Barcelona and other clubs. Okay, but the big question is this. Okay, is is it better to have the freedom to spend and potentially crash later, or to limit that freedom of spending and buying players anyhow and build a sustainable club? All right, even if it slows growth and development in a very short time. Okay, we will take Lyon now as an example. That is where I'm going to answer the reason why Olympic Lyonnais were relegated from the Ligue 1 despite finishing last season on fifth position. Okay, now Lyon is a club that we all know once dominated French football. They went straight to win, I think, 7 consecutive Ligue 1 titles or Ligue 1 titles in the early 2000s. If you are a football OG, you will know this. Okay, now they have just been relegated to League 2 or League 2. All right, now this is despite finishing fifth in the league. I told you before, a position that would normally guarantee them European qualification. So why are they really relegated? Okay, the simple answer is financial instability. Now, how? Let me explain gradually. Okay, now it is said reportedly that Lyon sits on over 500 million euros in debt. They are owing over 500 million euros, and last summer they spent over 120 million euros in the transfer market, just bringing in players both on loan and on permanent transfers. Before Paulo Fonseca was appointed in January as the coach, Pierre Serge, who was the former manager, and the management of Olympic Lyonnais brought in almost 23 players, if I'm not mistaken, in both summer transfers, both from pre-contract agreement in the previous season and in present deals as at the time. All right, during that time, I think the summer of 2024-2025, the summer of last season, incoming players like Ernest Nuama, they bought Ernest Nuama from the Belgian league. All right, Georges Miketautse, they bought him from FC Metz. Mama Balde from Troyes, who they later loaned out. Abner from Real Betis. Tana Tasman from Venezia. Jordan Veratu from Marseille. I think Duje Kaleta Ka from Southampton. Yes, I am very sure about that. Said Benrahma from West Ham, and Ainsley Maitland-Niles from Arsenal, though via free agencies. Okay, alongside other loan signatures or other loan signings that needed small loan fees here and there, 3 million euros here, 3 million pounds here, 4.5 million pounds here, and all right, now some reports even linked a few signings from Nottingham Forest to Lyonnais at the time. Okay, that was where they picked up the likes of Orel Mangala, all right, from Nottingham Forest, whom they later loaned out to Everton because of financial issues, and even Gift Orban, who they later sold in January to a Bundesliga side. Okay, and other permanent sales, and a host of others that were on free transfers, who were on a huge wage structure then in Lyon. They had to leave. All right, Even at that, they could not salvage the situation. All these transfers came at a very, very heavy cost. You may not understand, but trust me, all these transfers I've mentioned came, and many more that I've not spoken about, came at a very, very heavy cost. Okay, so football plan is very, very cool. Okay, now French football authorities had no other choice but to drop the big rock on Olympic Lyone and get them relegated as a sanction, or even as a disciplinary, or one of the disciplinary measures, even after they finished last season 5th position on the log. Okay, now let's also not act as if this is new. All right, in the past 2 seasons, we saw Bordeaux, also a Ligue 1 side, another historic French club. Okay, they were relegated all the way to Ligue 4, okay, or Ligue 4, primarily due to financial mismanagement. Okay, now so this isn't just about poor performance on the pitch, it's about what is happening off the pitch or outside the pitch. All right, yes. Now in Spain, in the La Liga, we've seen the same story. Okay, remember Malaga CF or FC Malaga? Can you remember that club? Only football OGs that have been watching football for a while now would know. After their fairy tale run to the UEFA Champions League quarterfinals in the 2012-2013 season, if you remember, things went out of hand quickly. Financial issues forced them to sell lots of big players that they couldn't afford then. They sold them. Stars like Isco Alacon, the famous Isco Malaga, Jeremy Tulalan, Nacho Morel to Arsenal, and then Santi Cazorla. Though Santi Cazorla's transfer, including the likes of Ruud van Nistelrooy and Julio Baptista, who were all transferred out then. Though the reason for their transfers were not really linked to financial issues, but they all went. These were stars. All right. Now this led to the downfall of Malaga CF. All right. Even at the time, we know the story of Racing Santander that went off the radar. We know the story of Elche, who we will no longer see in the La Liga, and even Deportivo La Corona that have failed to qualify for La Liga for like how many seasons now. Okay, this suffered similar fates. Okay, now all these clubs spent heavily trying to compete, but without solid long-term sustainability plans. They went down the drain, and they have failed to even resurface in La Liga for a long while now. So when Javier Tebas, the president of La Liga, tightens the La Liga financial belt, maybe he's not just favoring Real Madrid. Let me tell you, okay, he is trying to prevent another Deportivo La Corona or another Elche situation or another Malaga or even another Olympic Lyone in the Ligue 1, you understand me, in the La Liga. All right, now let us bring it home to the Premier League, where we all understand. All right, now the Premier League is a place where is a league where they have a rule called the Profit and Sustainability Rules. That's the PSR. They are in place. Okay, now clubs still spend big in England, all right, because of the PSR, but there is a system that forces these clubs to account for every dollar and every pound that they spend on players. Okay, now we've already seen teams like Everton and Nottingham Forest face big punishments and sanctions last season. They had their points deducted in previous seasons, all right, most recently. Now it is not, the system of the PSR is not perfect though in the Premier League, but it helps to create a framework that discourages reckless spending here and there, while allowing clubs to grow gradually and sustainably. All right, lots of you might say, okay, Chelsea, why is Chelsea not facing this? Manchester City faced something like that, but they escaped it. All right, a bit. Chelsea is not facing this because Chelsea is exploring different loopholes in the Premier League transfer system, and they are making use of it. That is why when they sign players, they sign younger players and they cut down their wages and spread the deal throughout a long period of time, 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, 6 years. Okay, Chelsea would not lose in the future because these players will spend longer times in those clubs, and then they would earn smaller salaries. Okay, so you see players like Noni Madueke, players like Nicholas Jackson, and receiving little wages, not up to £100,000. All right, per week. So they will spend longer time, and there is a clause in these players' contracts which they know that even if they don't produce well, they will earn as they produce. That is why when these players play well, they have increment in their wages. All right, even if they don't play well, when they are trying to be sold finally, no clubs will be afraid to buy them because their wages are small. Do you understand me? So Chelsea is exploring loopholes and mistakes in the Premier League's PSR. So they are not really faulting when it comes to the PSR rules like that, like people think they are. Okay, now when you understand this part in football, you will stop arguing, let's say aimlessly or relentlessly. Let's look at Sevilla in La Liga. They've won multiple European titles over the last 10 years, but their financial state is a bit fragile. All right, compare that to Real Sociedad, who haven't even won anything recently, yet they continue to compete well in La Liga. They sign their players and then they remain relevant in European football. Okay, why? Because they've managed their finances better. Even the likes of Valencia, who is another traditional powerhouse in Europe, is struggling to do due to similar mismanagement of fund and transfer progress or transfer activities. All right, so what is the solution? In my opinion, what is the solution to all this? Okay, how can clubs avoid this? Okay, now clubs need to prioritize sustainable growth. Okay, that means you have to invest smartly, not necessarily heavily. Okay, you have to invest smartly. If you have to invest heavily, you invest heavily, smartly. Okay, in the transfer market, you buy players that can give you titles, that can give you money, players and coaches that can do these things. Okay, build a stronger youth academy system so that you can depend on youth when these issues come up. You saw what happened to Chelsea a few years ago. All right, now implement long-term financial plans. All right, this would also help. Then avoid trying to buy success without first creating a financial base to support it. Okay, don't just spring from 0 to 9. Okay, start and follow the steps 1, 2, 3, and then you go there. Okay, so if Javier Tebas, the president of La Liga, loosens or has loosened La Liga's financial rules, like some fans are calling him out for, okay, it won't end well. Okay, because if he does this, the bigger clubs might survive due to their global brand and their revenue power, or their power of revenue. But the mid and lower tier teams will crash trying to keep up, just like what happened to Lyon. Okay, so it's better that he tightened it up just the way he did, because if he loses this La Liga rules that he has put, people are going to cry, people are going to suffer. Okay, lower tier leagues clubs rather will see themselves in the La Liga too. So that is the more reason why Lyon has been relegated to League 2, despite finishing 5th on the log the previous season. Okay, at the end, don't forget, at the end of the day, football success isn't just about spending, it's about spending wisely. Don't forget, football business and administration is different from football tactics and what fans say on the pitch. Tell me your reactions about what happened to Lyon in the comment section, and what you feel about the different rules by both FIFA and different leagues. Okay, be it FIFA financial fair play rules, be it the Premier League PSR and all. Let us talk football matters.